Module 2, Habit Myths. It takes 21 days to create a habit. This one is so ingrained in our culture that I'm going to use it as an example in the next slide and how to debunk it. But for now, I'll just say that 21 days builds routine, not habits, and there is a difference. Routine is built around when you do something, not really why you do something. Think about your morning routine and your evening routine. It's all about the when. To create a habit, you really need it to be built on something deeper, but we're going to get to that shortly. Repetition builds habits, and practice makes perfect usually go together as ways that we're taught to build habits. But here's the thing. Repetition and practice don't build habits, they build skills. Now that doesn't mean that they aren't useful, because as we're going to see coming up, ability does play a big part in habit creation, but only when paired with two other ingredients, which we're going to cover later in this course. SMART goals is another one that we hear often. This stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timed. And while it's a good model to help you choose an appropriate goal, it's not one that will help you develop and stick to the habit. And by the way, I like to use the word aspiration instead of goal, because an aspiration is tied more to who you want to be. And I found when creating habits, if I think in terms of who I am becoming when I do the behavior in my habit, the more successful I am at wiring the habit into my brain. And then we have rewards. The old, if I exercise all week, I'll treat myself to something great. Well, the problem with this is that while it may be a motivator, it's usually not enough of a motivator to keep you going on all week on something that you haven't been doing consistently to begin with, nor does it wire the new habit into your brain. Okay, so I told you that we're going to be looking at an example of why it does not take 21 days to build a habit. And so I ask you this. Have you heard about this thing called social media? For this example, I'm going to use Facebook, but really any social media works the same. Think back to when you first used Facebook and you made your first post. For some of us, that was a little scary. We didn't know how people would respond. But then something magical happened. Somebody liked our post, or maybe somebody even left a comment on our post, and that felt really good. Even if you didn't end up posting every day from there on out, I bet that was not the last time that you logged onto social media. After all, the last time I checked, Facebook had 2.7 billion users. That's billion with a B. The point being that it doesn't take any particular amount of days or weeks to build a habit. Instead, it takes as long as it takes for you to get that good feeling, and that happens when you design your habit correctly. So let's start looking at solutions in the next module. See you there.